Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
In today's lecture, I want to take a look into one of the world's most exciting and dangerous traditional activities. Who doesn't like a little excitement? When we think of extreme sports, what normally comes to mind? Skydiving, hang gliding, bungee jumping? All three are definitely very extreme. But did you know that bungee jumping, in particular, actually has been adapted from an ancient activity called land diving? That is performed by local people in Vanuatu, an island in the South Pacific. Land diving has been performed for centuries by local men in southern Vanuatu. Women are generally forbidden from performing the ritual. The jump is an integral part of the community, and so this is one reason foreigners cannot participate. The ritual serves several purposes. Firstly, villagers view land diving as a test, since only the strong are given the opportunity to jump. A second purpose of the dive is that it serves as a rite of passage for boys on the verge of adulthood. A boy will jump in the presence of his mother and elders as a means to show community support. The third, and essentially most important purpose of land diving, is to ensure a good harvest. The islanders believe a successful jump can therefore help keep the village healthy and well-fed. A special tower is built for the land divers to jump from. It normally takes between 20 and 30 local men around 5 weeks to construct. The men clear an area for the dive site and remove rocks from the soil, which will be continually tilled to remain soft up until the day of the jump. The tower can reach heights of 30 meters. Extending about 2 meters from the front of the tower, 4 or 5 platforms are constructed. The lowest one is around 10 meters, and the highest is near the top. Experienced divers go to the top of the tower first, while those who are inexperienced jump from lower down. Because of all the dangers associated with land diving, the men must engage in certain traditional rituals before being allowed to jump. The day before the ceremony, all men participating in the jump will undergo a formal wash. Afterwards, a special kind of oil made from coconuts is used to anoint their bodies for this cultural event. And then they decorate themselves with a boar tusk around their neck. On the day of the jump, all the villagers sing and dance to show emotional support for the divers. Once the diver is on the tower, 2 tough vine stems, which have been carefully selected by a village elder according to the diver's weight and height, are fixed around his ankles. It is of the utmost importance to select vines which are flexible. Vines which are too dry can snap easily. Short vines can cause a crash into the tower, while long vines may cause the diver to hit the ground too hard. When the diver is ready, he will cross his arms over his chest so as to prevent any injuries to his arms, and then tuck his head in so that when he jumps, his shoulders will just lightly make contact with the ground. They can reach speeds of up to 72 kilometers per hour. Immediately after the dive, villagers rush to the diver to attend to him because injuries are not uncommon. It is also important to note that any potential divers who decide against it are not viewed as lacking courage. Nowadays, land diving has become a way to attract tourism to Vanuatu. But in order to maintain the island's cultural integrity, the number of outsiders allowed to view the ceremony is strictly regulated by a council formed of the chiefs of the island. Also, as of 2006, filming of the ritual by outsiders for profitable purposes has been banned. Now, let's watch a short clip of the ritual.
That is the end of Part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to Part 4. That is the end of the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.